Hey everyone, in this video I'll be showing you the top 5 best weapons in the new Borderlands 4 DLC, the Bounty Pack 2, which adds in 17 new legendary and pearlescent weapons. We'll be breaking down the best of the best and talking about which builds will utilize these weapons best. There are some pretty interesting weapons here, and a little bit of a spoiler, we're not getting any pearlescent weapons on this top 5 list, but they will be reworked in the future, so hopefully we'll see some big power increases, because unfortunately the pearlescents do feel a little bit lackluster compared to what we've gotten in the previous Borderlands games. But without further ado, we're going to start off here with our honorable mentions. And our first honorable mention will be the Laser Discer, which returns from the pre-sequel in a much different form. This increases the damage that we deal to airborne targets, but honestly, this doesn't even end up being as strong as some of the others in this game. It is a TDR weapon though, so if you like the TDR throwing builds, it can work on this. It can also come with Jacob's parts, it comes with support drones potentially, and even things like the Maliwan Switcher and Ripper parts. But the damage is kind of not amazing. Slow fire rate for an assault rifle, and unless the target is flying in the air, you're not getting the full potential of this weapon. So yeah, but it does come with the TDR parts there, and you can get a variety of different TDR rolls. So if you really enjoy doing the TDR style builds, like this is probably the best use for it, but still don't think that is enough to bring it out of the honorable mentions. And our next honorable mention is the Flea Bag. Now, this one can actually be kind of interesting. You can get Hyperion, Ripper, Jacob's parts on it, and even some Maliwan switchers. It's a sticky projectile weapon, but it's not as powerful as all the other sticky projectiles in this game, but it lets you move the stickies around from enemies. And it's great because if you end up missing targets, this can help be a little bit more nice to the player. So if you're shooting around and, oh no, you can't hit your shots, boom, you can then make them move onto the target just like that. So that is cool, but the damage from this is not good enough to make it even worth using. If you really want to use stickies, use the bot. It shoots 5-round burst, and it is going to do way more damage than this could ever do. So yeah, I don't know. This one, if you're missing your shots often, like if you just want something that's a little bit easier to play, kind of like the Stray, still just use the Stray. And our last honorable mention here is the Broken Wings. And I gotta say, this one is actually one of the more enjoyable weapons to use. You can see that high DPS number, it's not fully accurate like some weapons in this game. Torg Licensed Impact Magazine would be the best roll, which will give us a bit more damage out of this thing. And you can also get a Hyperion loader if you wanted it, and a variety of different elemental weapon types. And this is what firing it looks like. It does a wave, kind of like the TK's wave weapons of the past. Not as good as that weapon, and actually TK's wave in this game is pretty absurd and actually kind of similar to another weapon that we have on this list, but you can see there, not doing anything like super fantastic in terms of the damage output. The Torg sticky, or the Torg impact does boost it up a little bit, and this is a particularly wide boss, but you can see there, it's not even like doing a whole lot of damage to to justify using something like this. So yeah, while this weapon can be a fun one to use, it is just a little bit less damage than a lot of the other weapons here. So yeah, it can be fun though. So apologies if that's your favorite gun. However, our 5th place best weapon from the DLC is the Mercurius here. Now, this one's funny. Fleet-footed is the special ability, which lets you scale your bullet damage with movement speed. So obviously some heroes or characters will get better benefits, like Rafa, for example, whose overdrive can give him crazy movement speed. And what's nice about that is there's triple bypass that can give you a 40% boost to your movement speed. And this weapon also comes with a variety of different rolls. So we got the Torg Licensed Impact Magazine on this with a flamethrower underbarrel and the Jacob's License accessory. We can also get ones that have the Atlas tracker so that you don't end up missing your shots, which is quite nice. And it also can come with the Torg stickies that do 8%, and that's a variable number. You can get higher amounts on that as well. And here's what the Torg impacts end up looking like. The fire rate is really slow, I just want to mention on this weapon, so that's a little bit unfortunate. I'm also going to throw out the grenade here, that's from the DLC. The grenade itself is okay, like it's not anything super fantastic. We're hoping for some heavy ordnance here, but where it really shines is if you're able to obviously get like the Torg stickies out on it, and then use something that's going to give you the infinite ammo there, and you can get kinetic ones here, which is kind of cool. So yeah, its damage output is not as going to be as high as some of the other weapons that we may have in this game, but it's still good enough that with the Torg stickies and even just the impacts there, you can do a considerable amount of damage to the boss. This is an Ultimate Vault Hunter 6 here, as you can see with a Rafa build. So yeah, it can chip away some health bars. Not as good as some of the other weapons in this game, but the slow fire rate is the biggest downside, I would say. If this thing could shoot a lot quicker, I think the damage output would be amazing. So yeah, it's our 5th place weapon though. Now next is my favorite weapon from the DLC, and it's going to be in 4th place here. It's not the best, but it's a fun one to use. The Bubbles here, which can come with Jacob's License accessories, which is pretty awesome, and it also can come with a Maliwan Switcher, and it's a Vladoff weapon, so there's a lot of great enhancements to further boost this up. And here's the bubbles. As you can see, it shoots out literal bubbles. So that does make it a little bit more challenging to aim with, but they are big projectiles. So it's actually very generous for giving headshots from what I've noticed. You can see there, we're actually getting an insane amount of headshots. So I guess that's one of the nice benefits of using this weapon, is that you can oftentimes get your headshots a little bit easier with this just due to the larger projectile size. But you got to be noted, these bullets do travel slowly. So if you're far away, you can see there, the bullets do have to take some time to travel towards them, kind of like some other Maliwan weapons of the past. Interesting for a let-off weapon here to be able to do something like this, but it's fun when you got a bunch of enemies in an area around, because large headshots are easy to get. Headshots that chain around are really nice. This goes great with the Jacob's bounce pass enhancements as well, because you can just get these bullets to chain around really easily. Great weapon for mobbing, and again, I just want to stress, this is a fun weapon. There's obviously some betters like the Wombo combo and other weapons out there, but if you're looking for something fun, this is the way to go. Best utilized probably on like an infinite crit Harlow type build or red skill tree Rafa, and anyone really can benefit from. Assault rifle is just kind of general use weapon, so I think it's pretty solid. Decent damage numbers, nothing fantastic. It does shoot out 2 bullets at a time as well. And if you're the man who sold the world, this weapon is for you. A Metal Gear Solid reference. Our third place weapon is the Shalashaska here. This one is really fun. You get the Awful Lot, which is a reference to Revolver Ocelot from Metal Gear Solid. But basically, whenever you fully drain your clip and it automatically reloads, you're going to get an increased ricochet by 1. This is really good for mobbing and okay for bossing, but you can get this to stack up to 5 times. And this will actually end if you end up manually reloading the gun. That's not too much of a worry, because it ends up having 6 or 8 rounds in the magazine there, and it can come with a variety of different rolls. So you got this one here, Ripper, and Jacobs is it's always going to have Jacobs, but if you can get a Ripper part on it, that's going to be optimal. And it also comes with a variety of different DPS rolls, so just be mindful of what you're looking at here. You can also inspect the weapons to get a further information on like their critical hit damage. That one is 58%. So yeah, this is 134%, for example. So this may end up having, like, in essence, a lower DPS number, but that's a whole lot more. It's an awful lot more damage. So check out what you're looking at, and some of them also can roll with different things. Like this one here has the sticky magazines, 13% each, and this was actually kind of nice. If you can get it with sticky magazines and Ripper and Jacobs, that'd be probably the god roll for that one. But the big thing is, this is a mobbing weapon, because its big thing that it does special is increase the ricochets upwards of +5. That also does work with if you got the bounce past Jacobs as well. And one last thing, some of the coolest weapon design too, like it has a variety of different appearances. Like this is so much cooler than the hand cannon revolver that we got as a pearlescent weapon. I gotta say, this is pretty sweet. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that don't care about the appearances, but it's an important thing for some people. Now, what we want to do with this weapon is just continually hold down the trigger. If you're playing as a character that can get infinite ammo, it's probably best to hold off until we get our big boost to the ricochets here. I'm just killing little trash mobs there, but you're going to see this right down by your health bar. There's a number 5, and that yellow thing is just showing us what number that we're actually on for the ricochets, so you can pop that up. There's not multiple enemies really here to ricochet, but if you're mobbing, this weapon can be pretty insane, and then once you get that going, you can then go ahead with your infinite ammo. And with the Ripper part, you can see it actually does some pretty crazy stuff, but the damage is not great against bosses. Like, it's more so a mobbing weapon, obviously, if you get that many insane amounts of ricochets. This reminds me of the Rowdy Rider that they added in the first bounty pack, but even better. I like the Rowdy Rider as a cold weapon. It was fun, but this thing is just a little bit better for the intended purposes of getting a ton of ricochets. And I know a lot of people really like that last weapon. I got so many comments regarding it, but our second place best weapon is, in my opinion, the dough shot. This thing comes with so many rolls. It's kind of impressive. It also comes with the widest DPS spread that I've ever seen for, I don't have low rolls, but I've seen them in the 4,000s, and this one here is close to 9,000. I'm sure it goes even higher. I was farming this one for a ton of hours, and just the rolls kept coming. There's a few weapons like that in the DLC, but my personal favorite is to get the Ripper and the Jacobs. Now, you can see here, 5 rounds, that's the typical. But if you got a Ripper on it, it goes up to 20, and this becomes absurdly powerful. It can also come with like a TDR accessory here, which lets you reload it. I don't find it to be as good as some of the other TDR chucking weapons, but yeah, this roll here is pretty impressive. And not to just crap on the second place weapon, but I want to draw a very good comparison here. The TK's Wave. This is one of my favorite weapons at release, and I think it's one of the most underrated weapons in Borderlands 4. This thing is actually kind of absurd. You can get a variety of different rolls. Like, some have the Torg Impact, and that's probably the best. It gets upwards of like 12k DPS. You can get Jacobs on it and a Ripper part. So it's very much similar, and I'm going to show you guys. So here's the dough shot with the Ripper. You can see the bullets will bounce off of walls and stuff. What's funny about that, so does the TK's Wave. So yeah, you can see there a pretty tight spread, though it's way straighter or tighter than the TK's Wave weapon there. But the really big thing about this weapon is with the Ripper parts, you can get that infinite ammo, so you can do some pretty fun stuff here with like the Bullet Buddy Deluxe from Rafa. But just get an idea of the damage from this. Then I'm just going to show you one of the weapon that I was comparing it to with the TK's Wave here. So this is going to be even more insane. Shoots slower, you see, but the health bar on this boss, and he's getting jobbered around like that, is so much higher. So yeah, in my opinion, I do think that the base game actually has some pretty insane weapons. There's been weapons that have been buffed too that are kind of flying under the radar, but yeah, I mean, the TK's Wave is just going to have the higher damage, but if you want something a little bit different, this is a tighter spread. Both of the bullets will bounce around. Both of them can have Ripper Jacobs parts. It's kind of funny how similar they are to each other. Normally, this weapon, though, would shoot all 5 rounds in one go. It does feel a little bit like it's a fun weapon too, but again, just the power level of the weapons in this DLC is a little bit lower in my opinion, but we can expect some buffs. They have said that they will be buffing like Pearlescents, for example, so perhaps we'll see some changes because this weapon does feel like another weapon that we've already got. Speaking of weapons that we already got, I should also quickly talk about Pearlescents and why they're not in the top 5. They just don't do anything really special. Like Pearlescents should be something you do your entire build around. Instead, they get the overrides here, which converts the damage type to whatever elemental damage type the enemy is weak to. Fine, but Maliwan does that already with the swapper. So, I mean, I don't know. This, though, the reason it's so similar to something else is that it increases the damage as our ammo decreases. The Bugbear Assault Rifle already does that. So, not a big fan of this. Also, the Conflict Sniper Rifle, I tried this out with Vex. It is pretty solid, like giving us increased damage per status effect on the enemy, and if you use certain enhancements that boost your chance of applying statuses, it can be kind of nice. It also comes with a variety of different elemental damage types, so it is fine, but the damage is just meh. And same thing with the Tank Buster. This one is from the Vault card, but I just found it annoying. Like, you're dealing more damage, but it heals enemies nearby, so you still have to end up damaging them at some point or another. And it usually is a full heal on most mobs, so yeah, it just makes things a bit more frustrating. The damage, it's not even as good as the Stray. I'm not going to beat the drum of the hand cannon. This weapon should be a lot stronger, but I think that they will likely be buffing all Pearlescents because they are not good. Not even top 5 of the best of DLC. And I showed you that my number 2 is not even as good as some of the base game weapons that are kind of neglected. One last thing, the Mercredi is absolute dog shit. It does not work properly at the current moment, so this one will likely get fixed at one point. And it swaps between firing styles, so it becomes like different gun types as you use it. I just found that this weapon was pretty crap, and it can't actually get true damage numbers off of things. It seems very bugged, so we'll likely get a future update on that one as well. And also the hair trigger weapon here is actually kind of annoying to use. I'll just quickly show you what I mean and why it's not on this list. When you fire it there, it creates an orb. It's really hard to keep track of it, and if you just like spam your button there, you can actually kill yourself really easily with this, so it's a frustrating weapon. You see that orb flying over there? Its damage is not even worth doing, so yeah, this is another reason these weapons weren't even included in our honorable mentions. And our best weapon of the DLC, odd enough, we got ourselves the roulette here with cash coming next month, or this month, I guess. Kind of interesting that we got a weapon that's so themed on luck, and cash obviously about that. So this weapon will give us a random buff on reload, and we see this beside our health bar. So when you're firing it away, it's got normally a 24 round magazine here, and then you're gonna see the number beside our health bar. So now it's 6, which gave it 48 ammo, and it shoots a lot faster. Now we got 7. This is the best roll. I'm going to put it into Bullet Buddy Deluxe so we don't reload. And you can see there, boss melted. It shoots insanely fast. It has a huge 48 round magazine. You want to get it on the 7 if at all possible, because you can see there, it just shoots so quickly with that you don't want it to go away. So yeah. And again, in real time, you can see how crazy that is. Criticals are just chaining around like... It's insane. Yeah, this weapon is an absolute powerhouse, and it's a fun one at that. So this weapon is kind of absurd. I think this is now the best pistol. I used to think like the Queen's Rest or the 7 Cents is the best pistol, but it seems like this is here to stay as the new best pistol. It's absurd. And I'm excited to see how this will work with cash when it releases next month, or this month. So very excited for that. But let me know your thoughts on the best weapons of the Bounty Pack 2 DLC in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if you enjoyed, and I hope you guys all have a great day.